So unfortunately it's been raining the last couple of days, so unfortunately I've not been able to get around to doing the actual wood floor, but that's going to change now. But luckily I've got the original floor that was in there. It may have only gone up to about there, but we can at least use that as a template. So I'm going to be using 9mm ply. There's an option 9 or 12 on most of the sites that you go on to, and a lot of it is in split parts. So I'm going to attempt to do the same thing. Luckily I've got the original one still here, which is probably about 12mm ply. I've measured to the front carpet to here. Yes, I have got a brand new piece of panel there, 244. That's got to overhang the floor a little bit. I'm going to do a piece from right at that end and bring it about halfway through the wheel arch. So if I'm going to join a piece here, which is technically going to be underneath the bed and a bit of storage, so the weather's just started turning again. It was sunny moments ago, so now we've got some spring showers. I've cut this bottom piece to 1900 and I've laid this out, but tried comparing it to where the van is, and it doesn't quite sort of tally up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, or should I say move that in a little bit further, so I've always got a little bit more to trim, because I think this bit didn't quite sit to where it should have. So I'm just going to trim that part, try it in for the van, and that might it be for tonight. But let's get this right to the edge, get that square, and then we'll see how it looks. It doesn't look straight over here, so what I need to do is just bring the whole thing over that way. We'll try and follow this line. Okay, there. Bring that a little bit closer to there, and we could be okay. Just might need to straighten that up a little bit. It's just too far, isn't it? So what I'll do a little scribe line there to there. This looks so much better. I think just like to take a little bit more off, but that's literally going to be there, which isn't going to make that much of a difference really. And this part here, it's just a little bit too close, just to bring it a little bit more forward, but we're not talking much, we're just talking half a centimetre, if that, just to follow it round. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the pencil at like a 45-degree angle and just follow it round, and what it should do is leave a mark that's about half a centimetre or so further in, just so it doesn't overlap too much, because we've got these little mounting points here for the actual step cover to go on. And I'm just going to trim a little bit off there while I'm at it, just a fraction, not much. So I think I'm going to go for the final fit now. So I'm not overly proud that I've missed bits, but when you think quite a lot of van conversions haven't even got this in there, and I'll tell you, it's made a massive difference straight away. This dodo mat it's actually changed working in the van overnight. It's made that much, because there was so much cold coming up through the floor, you wouldn't really realise it until you actually put it down, and it's so much softer on the knees. One thing we're going to do is I'm going to put some offcuts of 4mm in between here, just to help spread the load, and I'm just going to put it in these key points, because when you get in the van, these are the places you're going to put your feet. I opted to leave a little bit of a gap, because that's the offcut I had. So it's the following morning, we managed to put that first bit down, so it fits quite nicely around there, but because the weather's going to change, I know I want to get those bits cut out, so when it does start raining, at least I can work inside the van. To make it clear on why I've separated the wood into the 3 different pieces as I have now. So distance from there to here, I was probably about that much short, so depending on what floor I'm doing, because the wife's still not decided what colour floor and what type of floor to put on. If we were doing a lino style floor, the join would be there, so chances are every time you go into the van you'd see just that little line of a groove, so at least there it's going to be underneath the bed. I think I'll do this bit, because this bit just looks easier. Probably isn't, is it? So as I found out from the original one that I had, it doesn't 100% fit, so, but I'm going to use that as a really good template. So it's basically from here to that bit, apart from not going to need all that. So I've got the original piece of wood clamped to the ply, got it all stood up because that's going to be the easiest way to do it. And I've measured 56 on my one from here. I've lost my marks now. So I need to go to there. To there. So I've popped that down, it didn't quite fit. I had to take a couple of little shavings off each side, as I'd not really accounted for that. So that's something to bear in mind. So I'm not going to cut this one, I'm going to cut this one, but at least I've got a mark to see how much off I need to do. And while I'm at it, I need to cut off this line here. So you'll see where the old one had a smaller trim, and that was cut out there. So I need to just take it a little bit further. And this is where having an old bit of like plastic sill, so that's something that would have been on PVC windows. It's just handy to have because it bends round and I can follow that line. I'm going to take it right to the edge of there and just do a little bit of a curved line to it. I'm happy with that. So next bit is going to be that piece. So it's a little bit more difficult because the template that I've got, the original one was on there, basically stopped where the back seats were. So from there to there should be 1900. So I do a piece that's 1900 by 300. I should be able to offer that up. So we've got to remember, this may not be straight, so let's measure that one. 8.5, and that one's 8. So the final little piece, hopefully, just squeezes in there. I'm nervous now. Let's see if she goes in. That's looking good so far. I can see what I've done wrong here. Okay, so that fits in. That fits in. Oh, that's tight, but do you know what? That looks good, that. Oh, just on the edge there. I could probably do with just trimming that. That's a little bit, oh, I can see where that's just bowed round. Let's square that off, and I think that's going to be done. So I haven't quite measured correctly here, so I don't know what's gone wrong when I've tried to offer up the template. But I can't actually remember how the previous one was and where the carpet went, so don't take it as gospel. Good thing is that area is going to be behind the unit. Looks like it's going to be a win, and I've done it out of 2 sheets, so quite happy with that. That's cost somewhere in the region of 50 quid, if not a little bit less. Probably costs less than 50 quid, isn't it? These 20 quid a sheet. So the next job is going to be screwing it down. So in this task I'm going to use 30mm screws, 3mm drill bit, an 8mm drill bit, a ruler, don't really know what I want the ruler for, and a great big long bit of plastic. So the one thing I've done is mark on some of the ribs where they are, and they correspond with some lines I've just marked on there. So I can run an 8mm drill bit just to start it, which is going to be the same sort of thickness as the head. Then I'm going to put 3mm drill bit just down into the metal. You don't want to go too far. And these are 4mm diameter screws, and it's a 3mm drill bit, just to give it something to grip onto. So why have I gone 30mm? So this is always going to get compressed. So we sort of see the depth there, and we don't want to go too far down, just in case it hits something underneath. Right, remember underneath here it's a fuel line, so you don't need great big dirty long screws. There's a lamp there. That's going to be in a future episode where we're going to cover all the electrics. So I'm halfway through the electrics at the moment, so I'll put all the electric stuff all in one video. So that's going to be quite handy as a reference rather than chopping and changing between, you know, the different weekends I'm doing this project. So if you want to watch one of those, think about subscribing. It's something free to do, and it really helps the channel out. But at the moment, let's get cracked on with this. So let's go to a time lapse of me doing the job. Thermal line floor as good as done. The only thing I would like to do is just sand a few of these little joints. Like just there, just feels a little bit prouder than there. So maybe loosen that off a little bit just to bring that up. So that's all pretty much tight, and I have offered up the brand new trim, and luckily it is about the right sort of height. We have got a little margin of room there, because we've still not decided what floor covering to actually put on there. So part of the dilemma is, what colour is the kitchen going to be? So in the next video I'm going to be doing something else on the van. I'm not really too sure what. It might either be something trick with the windows or some more ply lining. I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to do a basic ply lining video that's just going to be, I've cut this out, or I've bought this kit, I've put the clips on and bunged it on, because you've already seen that one before. Hopefully mine is going to be probably a little bit more complicated, and I apologise now if it's a little bit more long-winded. So either way, I hope to see you in the next one. Share, like, subscribe, because subscribe you're going to see when the next one comes out. So thanks very much for watching, and it's a ta-ra for me. I've got a lot to do, haven't I? I think I best go and have some coffee and some cake.